I have gone through every single one of Deadpool's kills, from the least gruesome ones
I'm looking for Francis
to the ones that'll probably make you puke. And we're gonna see what the kill count of this unhinged superhero is going to be. So let's start from the top, shall we? The first movie starts off with Wade Deadpool Wilson on his crusade for hardcore vengeance. His target, Francis, a notorious weapons dealer and top-of-the-shelf criminal mastermind. Wade had tracked him down to a convoy on a freeway, and I gotta say, not very inconspicuous for someone who's wanted by at least 3 law enforcement agencies. That really came close to starting the kill count, but the day's not over yet and the fight was just getting started.
Corinthian leather.
looking for Francis.
That's certainly one way to skip through boring songs. Speaking of boring, we're already having our first kill here. A head turner, if you will. Too soon. Anyway, if there's anything more criminal than killing a man, it's the utter disregard for a super expensive SUV. I mean, Corinthian leather? Come on, guys, show some respect.
Yankee, Yankee.
Ooh, not a fun way to go. Then again, I don't think there's any fun way to meet your maker. But hey, look who's been clinging to life since then, literally.
I've never said this, but don't swallow.
Ha! Nice one. If I had a penny for every time I've been told the opposite, Moving on. There are a lot of reasons why it's not safe to drink and drive, much less fight and drive, and we're about to witness about 4 reasons as to why. Honestly, I can't even pick who had it better off. The biker who got wedgied before decapitation by his own bike chain, or the dude that got whipped into a signboard, or the other 2 that got crushed by the rolling SUV. But guess who didn't die? Yeah, there was no way the most voted annoying hero in the Marvel Universe was gonna die that easily.
You may be wondering why the red suit.
Can't blame the shooter. I'm starting to see why Deadpool won that vote by a landslide, but he makes up for it with his badass shooting skills, case in point. I know what you're gonna say. That flip was totally awesome. Maybe a little bit unnecessary, but still awesome. The next shot, not so much.
7.
But hey, still a headshot, so cool. Well, not for the dead guy.
Someone's not counting. 6.
The takeaway from this is to always reload your gun after every few shots. That's like Call of Duty 101. What a noob. Speaking of Call of Duty, here's a double kill that'll definitely make the kill cam. Oh, that's just brutal. I think I could nail that shot myself. I've done it a couple of times in video games. How hard could it be? I certainly won't get shot up as Wade, that's for sure. 4. If it wasn't for Wade's healing factor, getting shot in the ass would be a very terrible way to go, not to mention embarrassing. I can already picture the eternally humiliating headstone. Here lies Wade. He died doing what he loves, taking things up the bum. Anyway, he makes up for it with what might be the single-handedly most impressive shot in the MCU.
I'm touching myself tonight.
Triple kill. You and me both, buddy. You and me both. Unfortunately, the bullet didn't quite. The last guy on the 3-point kill 1 bullet train survived, and for some unholy reason, he thought if guns weren't enough to stop Deadpool, his tiny knives would be.
Rolling up the sleeves?
Guess he shouldn't have brought a knife to a sword fight, huh? Movie minions these days are not as bright as they used to be. Were they ever bright? Francis, the object of Wade's revenge, had pretty much slipped away in the whole confusion. Coward. Making this another failed attempt at nailing his ass with a 9mm round. So while Wade tries to track him down again, let's take a little detour down history lane to see what made him the hero he is today.
You're my hero.
No. That I ain't.
Never will be. I'm just a bad guy who gets paid to up worse guys.
You see, before his crime-fighting days and red tactical bodysuits, Wade was your run-of-the-mill mercenary in Merc bodysuit, which is regular clothing, I guess. Strangely enough, though, most of the job seems to involve chasing away his client's stalkers.
Megan.
You've heard the last of Jeremy. He's sorry.
I know. I thought the same thing too. Aren't mercenaries meant to be hired for stuff like kidnapping, murder, and the occasional terrorism? But hey, whatever brings in the daily bread to the table, right? At least he deals with the stalker problems in a totally mean merc style.
Read the book. That I have some hard spots too. That came out wrong, or did it?
Or maybe not. But at least he got the message across. Anyway, like all cold-hearted, hardened mercs, there's always the one thing that brings out their soft and gooey insides, kind of like a marshmallow. And that is a woman, who in this case is Vanessa.
Woo! Yes!
Oh, Star Wars jokes. V-break. Shake it, yeah.
Aw, how sweet. But all sweet things tend to not last very long.
You're clowning.
People react to news of late-stage cancer differently. There are certainly options we can look into.
Yeah, the big C. Cancer, not chlamydia. Very tragic, I know. Wade's dying and obviously desperate. I mean, a decent-ish job, a beautiful girl, relatively chill merc friends who bet on which one of them is gonna die first. Clearly, he's got a lot to live for here. So he accepts a very suspicious offer to treat him and make him even better than before.
Can cure your cancer. Abilities most men only dream of.
Like an infomercial, but not a good one.
I think I see the problem here. The message is on point, delivery a little bit lacking, but the looks, oh no, dude looks like he'd feature on the cover of Pedo Weekly. That's a magazine?
We're within 500 yards of a school, so you may want to.
Despite Wade's less than welcoming reception, he ended up taking the offer. Not necessarily because he wanted the chance of being a superhero, because it meant he'd be alive for his girlfriend.
Nothing warms my heart more than a change of someone else's.
Promise you'll do right by me.
Still not very non-pervy if I do say so myself, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
And please don't make the super suit green.
Fun fact about Wade's beef against the green supersuit, it's basically a jab against the Green Lantern movie Ryan Reynolds also starred in. Let's just say the movie wasn't really well received, and it's a DC movie, and he's Team Marvel now, so yeah. Moving past how Marvel is obviously better than DC, this super cancer treatment scheme turned out to be much more sus than anticipated. Not quite the cancer treating facility you imagined, huh? And the hospitality wasn't anything to write home about either.
You should really come up with a safe word, fellas.
Easy.
And get this is where Wade first met his arch nemesis, Francis. Or should I say, Ajax.
Mr. Wilson, my name's Ajax. This may hurt a little. This may cause you some discomfort.
Not exactly the words you'd want to hear from the doctor treating you. Turns out the supposed cancer treating facility was a shady Weapon X facility that produces mutants through not so humane ways. Basically, they shoot up their victims, patients, with stolen mutant DNA from the likes of the X-Men. Then they torture the shit out of the patients till their powers manifest. And boy, did they give Wade the works.
We're going to have to make you suffer. Genes will activate and manifest in it. If not, well, we'll have to keep on hurting you. Until you finally mutate.
Dang, he really got the premium torture special. Drowning, electrocution, you name it. Naturally, Wade being who he is, managed to keep his humor through the grisly experience. Who knows? I don't know how he did that. Wade's smart mouth did finally get him into trouble though, especially when he discovered the head honcho's name was actually Francis. Pretty lame villain name, by the way. No wonder he took up Ajax. And of course, Francis didn't take kindly to Wade blabbing about that.
Now what we're going to do is lower the oxygen concentration in the air to the exact point you feel like you're suffocating.
Gotta say, that's quite the ingenious torture idea, a constant state of asphyxiation, and not the good kind too. But leave it to Wade to run his pretty little mouth despite the foreboding situation.
Wait. You actually have something in your teeth now. Enjoy your weekend.
He may have scored the last laugh with that tidbit, but he wasn't laughing seconds later, that's for sure.
A love story? No, it's a horror movie.
And that, folks, is how Wade got his ugly mug. Tough luck, really. He was such an eye candy before. But what he lost in good looks, he got in a cure. The treatment actually worked to cure the cancer and all, but not quite. You see, Wade's freshly mutated cells have the ability to cure anything, but it also accelerated his cancer cells' growth, making him look like that.
Because I need to. Because I want to.
Wade, as you can imagine, had a few bones to pick with Francis, so he managed to get his hands on a matchstick, and if chemistry has taught us anything, it's that fire can make things go boom. actually escape if I do say so myself. Except Wade wasn't exactly planning on escaping, not when he had some beef to settle. Oh, that was a heavy starter blow. One that would typically give a regular chap the motherload of concussions or death, but Francis ain't your regular chap. In fact, he was just like Wade, part of the mutant creation program back in the day, and his mutated cells fried his nerves, basically making him unable to feel pain and sharpen his reflexes somehow. Pretty much explains why he could take a whopping and keep on coming. Well, when you pile that nice pair of abilities on Francis's plate together with what I can assume is years of experience, you can take a safe bet on who'd win. After that impalement, Francis left Wade to burn to crisps along with the other patients in the crumbling facility. Except Wade didn't die. He couldn't anymore. Not with that shred of Wolverine's mutant DNA pumping through his veins. Yeah, the origin of Wade's regeneration can be traced back to the OG healing factor mutant. So with his messed up face and no chance of getting back with his girl, Wade seeks solace with his pal who runs the mercenary bar, and that's where he got the idea for his superhero name.
Mr. Never Die. Guys, I'm never gonna win the
Deadpool.
captain. To you, Mr. Poole.
The story behind that is simple. The merc lifestyle is obviously fraught with dangers and whatnot, so why not set up a Deadpool? Bet on who dies first. Ironically, Wade's friend had put all his stake on him, a terrible bet with the immortality now in play. So with an alias and a makeshift costume, Deadpool roams the city in search of Francis. Well, roam is an understatement. More like calculated rampage. Had the whole hunting board and everything.
This is gonna have nuts in it.
Well, he certainly did go nuts, that's for sure. You know what they say, hell hath no fury than a previously hot guy forced to roam the earth looking like an abused avocado.
Where's Francis?
Yeah, you better run. When that lead didn't turn up anything on Francis, he checked elsewhere.
He asked twice. Where?
Another dead end. But the more he hunted, the more he honed his super agility and reflexes and donned his iconic dual pistols and dual blade setup. So that's like at least 7 people added to the death count. Believe it or not, they had it pretty easy. You'll see.
You're about to be killed by a Zamboni. You're gonna die in 5 minutes.
I mean, sure, it's not the most horrific way to die, but it's dang well embarrassing. I wouldn't want to be caught dead dying like that. And girls are no exception either, because the guns of Rampage are unisex.
Where's Francis? I'm so sorry.
And there was this one unlucky guy. He just had to introduce himself to the door of a safe for some unholy reason. Hell, a man couldn't even take care of his business without getting jumped by Deadpool. That's low, bro. That's really low. Not like it mattered anyway, though. All those leads still turned out to be dead ends. Maybe if he did more asking first before killing. I don't know. Not trying to tell bro how to do his job or anything, but it just sounds like a good idea to me. Still, I suppose it did lead him to the sleazy agent that brought him into the program in the first place.
I'll take a foot long.
They always run first, don't they? Leaving the bodyguards to try and immediately fail at stopping the threat. Cliche bad guy move. Wait till you see his face after he realized it was Wade chasing him.
Mr. Wilson?
Ding ding.
Where's your boss?
You might want to look away for this. Thank you.
I, for one, do not want to know what was done to that guy. Whatever it was couldn't have been pretty. Much like his hairdo. Anyway, Wade's crazy rampage finally pulled through after the guy spilled the beans on Francis's whereabouts, and that brings us back to the assault on the highway.
If I were a 200-pound sack of assholes named Francis, where would I hide?
So contrary to my previous belief of Francis running away, it turns out he wasn't such a coward after all. Instead, he just waited for all his goons to die first before running away. Not like he got that far anyway.
And sportsmanlike conduct to a whole new level. Looking good, Francis.
Oh, that must have hurt. Well, should have hurt. Francis can't feel any pain. But that wasn't going to stop Wade from dishing out a fistful of vengeance.
I'm about to do to you.
Saved by a metal crotch, the X-Men had arrived to save the day. Well, X-Men as in two of them, not exactly the more popular ones, just Colossus and,
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Negasonic. That's the coolest name ever.
Yeah, what she said. Sucks they couldn't afford the OGs like Wolverine or Professor X, but you take what you get. Anyway, the X-Men weren't too keen on Wade's pursuit of revenge, especially considering all the collateral damage on the highway.
Nobody's getting hurt. I was already up there when I got here.
What a bald-faced lie. Not that anyone believed him, though. Still, in Wade's eyes, locking Francis up in some prison was the same as robbing him of his chance to cut him up himself. And he didn't like the sound of that, much less than the idea of joining the X-Men. So they argued on and on about what's right, while Francis made a sneaky getaway.
Quite unfortunate.
Hey, I don't blame Wade, I get it. I'd be mad too if I were in his shoes. But to think he'd actually try to fight Colossus, not the brightest idea. Because on one corner, standing at 6'2" and weighing about 210, the Deadpool Wade f***ing Wilson. And on the other corner, towering at 7'7" and weighing over 500 pounds, the man made of organic metal, the unstoppable Colossus.
Your poor wife.
All the dinosaurs feared the T-Rex.
What was he expecting to happen? And the funny thing is, he wasn't going to give up until Colossus gave him a reason to. KO! Colossus wins. Flawless victory. If you bet any money on Deadpool winning, sucks to be you. And in typical Wade fashion, he made sure to get the last laugh as they tried to take him away.
Oh, there's the money shot, baby.
Seems a tad bit extreme, but with a healing factor like his, I guess losing a hand is no biggie. Which reminds me, calling it a healing factor might be canonically inaccurate. You see, despite Wade's mutation deriving its origins from Wolverine, their healing abilities are completely opposite in the way they work. While Wolverine's body generates new living cells to replace dead ones, keeping him in peak physical condition at all times, Wade's body produces only dying cells to replace the dead ones, keeping him in a constant state of near dead forever. Hence the name, the dying factor. Now, the reason behind this is simple. During Wade's forced mutative experiment, Wolverine's healing factor attached itself to Wade's dying cancerous cells, so they're bound to only produce cells of the same nature and nothing better. It's this constant and unending flux of regeneration that makes his healing abilities far more powerful than Wolverine's, to the point that he can even regenerate from just a head and much less than that, according to the comics.
Sue have had a face like that. I only wish I healed the same. We'll put him out of our misery.
When he heals?
There's nothing left of him to heal.
That attempt on Francis's life pissed him off a lot, not to mention all the manpower he's lost thanks to Wade. So he goes after the one thing Wade cares about, his girlfriend Vanessa. Remember her, right? The same one Wade disappeared on to go and try out the Weapon X cancer treatment program? Same one Wade never went back to even after escaping the facility because he looked like that? Well, I wouldn't either, but that's not the point.
Wade Wilson to thank for this.
Hey, where'd she go?
Losing his good looks was one thing, losing Vanessa was something else, something that drove Wade's already psychotic mental state to the edge. But if he was gonna face Francis once and for all, he was gonna need guns, a lot of them.
It's about 3,000 rounds. We all know what I can do with 12.
Yikes, that's a lot of guns. But you know what they say, you can never have too many. Guns aside though, clearly Francis would be very much prepared for their standoff with 10 times the minions, so Wade was gonna need a couple of minions of his own.
Go deliver to your friend with the non-stainless steel. Go hard getting busy.
Where's your duffel bag?
All that preparation just to forget the duffel bag full of guns. Rookie mistake, if I do say so myself.
And maximum effort. Hear the music.
You gotta admit, that's one of the coolest walk-ins to a battle. And here comes the other side with an iconic move as well.
Superhero landing. Wait for it. Yeah, that's really hard on your knee.
Dang, I do love me a nice superhero landing too. But I hear that stuff is bad for the knees, especially if you ain't got the super strength and endurance like that badass lady. And that's why Wade brought Colossus to deal with her nonsense.
Not to hit a woman, so please play.
That sounded like it hurt. So much for the unstoppable Colossus, am I right? Let's see if the Negasonic Teenage Warhead, wow, that's a mouthful, fares any better.
Oh, I so pity the dude who pressures her into prom.
That surely left a mark and kicked the battle right into gear. So let's play Death Roulette. Who's gonna meet their maker first and how? Coming in first and hotter than the bullets is Colossus with a powerful tire toss. If you have any idea how heavy those can be, you know those goons are not surviving that one easily. Up next, we have... It's Wade, starting off with a simple leg dismemberment, followed by a midsection C-section, a headshot dagger toss, and 2-hit decapitation, and finally a wicked curve kick that'll put the likes of Messi and Ronaldo to shame. Meanwhile, the emo ex-girl was also racking up some kills of her own. That girl netting a double kill on her first go, not bad. Not bad at all. Colossus, on the other hand, had his hands full with the super strong badass. And at this point, you just gotta start feeling bad for him. Yeah, there you go. So who's boss? I mean, we don't tolerate violence against women here. It's not a good look. It's not a good thing. Oh yeah! Now let's go back to Wade, see how his kill count is faring. A nice 7-hit combo with a side of dismembered hand. Looking good, looking good. Meanwhile, jeez, dude, take a chill pill. Totally wouldn't want to get on his bad side, that's for sure. At least he's still got some good manners and morals.
You're on the left.
Thanks.
And they say chivalry is dead. Too bad he was saving it for a lady who's hell-bent on killing him. That was a cheap shot. Effective, but cheap nonetheless. Other way, that would keep him down for a while. Enough for us to catch Wade blasting his way to 3 more kills. And that was the last of the minions. Not a very big group, huh? Well, I suppose the size doesn't matter if they can't even kill 3 mutants. Not that it mattered to Francis anyway. He just needed to buy some time so he could set Vanessa up in the same oxygen chamber he used to torture Wade. Classic villain tactic. Save the girl, fight the bad guy. Pick one. One thing Francis had failed to calculate is that Wade was much better than before, meaning he could do both. Not a bad stab point, but personally I would have gone for the nuts. Let's see if he really can't feel any pain whatsoever. Dang, you'd think a sword to the chest would do, but he really doesn't feel a thing, does he? After a few more punches, kicks, a fracking container whacking them and the platform they were fighting on collapsing around them in a deathly explosion, dude was still rearing to go. Guess beating up a nemesis who can't really feel anything isn't really satisfying if they just keep on laughing, not to mention how exhausting it can be. Well, that's nothing a wholesome bullet to the head won't solve.
Who cares?
Wait! 4 or 5 moments, that's all it takes. Be a hero.
And here comes Colossus with the be a hero pitch again. Heck, even Francis was tired of that.
Moments when you're offered a choice. Spare an enemy.
As much as it pains me to say this, maybe Metal Mouth has a point. A bit hypocritical coming from someone who was beating up a lady moments ago, but he makes a good point. So much so, I think he was starting to get to Wade too.
The way we...
You were droning on.
Or maybe not. Anyway, all's well that ends well. Wade got his babe back, got his revenge, and even made the world a tiny bit safer from more Weapon X experiments. As with the kill count, we got a decent 125. Causes of death include blood loss from car accidents, dismemberment, stabbing, slicing, a lot of headshots, decapitation, explosion, explosive suicide, immolation, crushing, radioactive kinetic explosion, and let's not forget that unfortunate incident with the Zamboni machine. Believe it or not, 115 of the kills were Deadpool's. Someone's been a very busy boy. If he can cause as much carnage as he did in the first movie, you just know the second one's gonna be double the gory fun. To resume the kill count, we got a special person coming in, the man of the hour himself, the man in red, the man who just can't seem to die! Cockroach. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wade frackin' Wilson!
He rides my coattails with the R rating.
Suicide bombing! Ain't that just a hoot? I know you're probably wondering, Deadpool might be a psychopath, and even that's an understatement, but what on earth would make him try to kill himself? You know, aside from it being just a regular Tuesday. Well, it started with him going international after the events of the first movie. The world was an oyster full of dangerous people no one would touch except him, and boy was he planning on touching them all over.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? I don't bargain, pumpkin.
What a coinky dink. The first one on the list was a sex trafficker in Hong Kong. You know what they say about not jumping headfirst into a situation? Sure, it may have killed the guy, but the problem is what came next.
Oh.
The one guy in the back who was aiming for Deadpool's nuts is definitely a total perv. He thought we didn't see him, but we did. He surely doubt that guy imagined his dying moment would be with a gun being shoved down his throat.
Merely a vessel for the Lord. Hands out of the guns of the criminals.
And that wraps things up nicely with 9 dead and a couple traumatized call girls. The next stop, a mob boss in Sicily.
Not going there. Let's see Captain America.
Okay, I gotta ask, it's one thing to desecrate a funeral, but what the frick did he do to the dead body in the casket? Also, I don't know what his beef with Captain America is, but I wholly support it. I refuse to elaborate. Moving on, here we are in Biloxi, if that's even a real place. I've only got 2 things to say. 1, turns out Biloxi's a real place in Mississippi. And 2, work it, girl! I dare you to show me any other Marvel hero that can pull off moves like that in those fracking heels, man. Except Black Widow. Now onward to the land of the rising sun. Anyone else wondering where those katanas came from? Did the Yakuza just go around soaking in tubs with their blades? Because if so, that's fracking gnarly. I guess we don't need to find out, though, because dead men tell no tales. Oh, come on, laughing at the dude with no arms. That's just a low weight. You can do better, like cutting their heads off instead. Let's not judge the fat guy trying to cover himself up. It sure as hell beats dying naked or being given a weird towel wedgie. No fight is ever really complete without a good teabagging. I mean, how else are you supposed to strike fear into your enemy's hearts? You know, I just now realized that Wade should have killed like over 100 people by now, and you know, this is the first time he's gotten blood in his eyes. Besides, he's wearing a mask, right? Like, how's that even possible in the first place? That mask clearly protects him from, like, nukes. If the Yakuza don't tolerate a rando interrupting their soak time, I very much doubt they take kindly to someone peeking underneath their towels.
My world tour brought me home.
While Wade's crime lord busting spree led him to a drug lab back home, and his usual subtlety was out the window.
Sergei Velishnikov. But we'll get to him in a moment. That babysitter of yours is high as right now. And every good family film starts with a vicious murder. Saw 7.
Not really sure how Saw 7 counts as a family movie, but I'll take his word for it. Totally not because I'm scared of being sliced, diced, and or stabbed, or set on fire, or...
Holy pickles. That guy's on fire. He was one of the worst of them.
Hurry up and open this door and let's kill this mother.
Really, dude? You just saw a masked psycho kill his way through a dozen guys, set a couple on fire, and behead one with a chainsaw, and you think you've got a shot. Clearly someone suffering from main character syndrome. Anyway, strong as Deadpool might be, he can't exactly slice through a panic room door, which bought enough time for reinforcements to arrive. More bad guys to the slaughter. Definitely not too much for him to handle, right? Instead, he does this.
Literally in a moment. It's not.
Before you start calling him a wuss for running, look at what he's accomplished so far. Between Hong Kong, Tokyo, Biloxi, Sicily, and his home city, dude's already added 36 victims to that kill count of his. Plus, he kinda has a good excuse. You see, it was his anniversary with Vanessa. You remember Vanessa, right? His hot girlfriend. Yeah, they're still together and going strong until they weren't. Problem with leaving bad guys to kill for another day is that they usually always find a way to come bite you in the ass later.
Get down.
I don't even know whether to be impressed by Wade's culinary skills or disappointed in the armed enemies that were dispatched by just one guy with kitchen utensils. At least one of them got a proper-ish shot in. Too bad it hit the wrong person. Now, it's pretty common for superheroes to lose their loved ones at some point, but to lose your girlfriend right after you guys decide to have a baby, that's cruel. Not that much of a satisfying death, but nonetheless. With Vanessa dead and her killer dead, it felt like Wade had no more purpose in life anymore. That's when he got the bright idea to go on a suicide spree, hence the suicide bombing back in the beginning. But before that, he tried other less volatile ways of killing himself.
What's your name?
Captain Delicious Pants.
Good golly, whatever happened to simply popping one in the skull? Makes you wonder how he made it out, though. Did the zookeepers have to come rescue Bits, or did he just regenerate from polar bear poop? So when that didn't kill him, that's when he tried blowing himself up. He still survived. Duh. Kind of funny how Wade's suicide attempts only adds up to the kill count. After all, he is killing himself 4 times at that. But those few seconds he'd spent dead allowed him to see Vanessa, who told him he was going the wrong way about things. After that, he spent the next few days with the X-Men pondering on what Vanessa said, and if you've seen the first movie already, you'd know just how many X-Men there are.
You can't just dust off one of the famous X-Men. How about that Potts with the giant pigeon wings? Feet off the ground to snatch up the nearest muffin crumb? No.
Well, at least they got one extra X-Man, or should I say X-Woman.
What in the knuckles is this? Hinky Pie from My Little Pony.
Aw, don't they just look so cute together? Like a pink jelly glazed donut next to black coffee. Anyway, Wade settles for a communal living with the X-people for a while, trying to become a better person, until they drag him along on a mission like nothing could go wrong with that.
Justin Bieber dies!
Justin Bieber, he called you Justin Bieber.
Trust Deadpool to make light of every situation, no matter how dire it is. Like, what was Colossus even thinking? Letting gun-slinging, sword-swinging Wade try the peaceful approach? This'll be fun.
Fire Fist. Ooh, that's a great name. Where does it burn? Just the fist or all the way up to the elbow?
Oh, definitely all the way up to the elbow.
Well, there goes the Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She really has to come up with a better, preferably shorter hero name.
I can't say it. I'm so sorry.
Oh. That does it.
Wait! What was put us through?
Strike! And this time it's Colossus. Makes you wonder just how strong Fire Fist Russell might actually be. Quick rundown on Russell's story, by the way. Apparently he's a 14-year-old mutant with pyrokinetic abilities that was sent to the Essex School. It's basically the opposite of Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, where instead of nurturing their powers and turning them into future X-Men, they try to suppress their abilities. Kind of like Prey the Gay Away, but for mutants. So it made sense why the kid was so twitchy, and Wade wasn't making things any better either.
This dump, well, guess what? I used to live in a just like it. Can't hear you with that pity dick in your mouth.
Well, for a moment there, he was getting somewhere with Russell, but he just had to screw it up Wade Wilson style.
So not practical.
Of course, that blast did nothing to him, and thanks to Russell firing first, he finally got to bust out a nice superhero move without killing the boy, of course, because doing that to a kid would be so against Disney policy. So all's well that ends well, right? I think not.
Few moments.
Why would Deadpool shoot at random civvies, you ask? Thing is, he was trying to kill the person in charge of the Essex School of Non-Mutant Kind, because let's face it, there's no way they weren't abusing the heck out of the kids in their care. Which would explain why Russell wanted out, even if it meant being sent to a maximum security prison for mutants. And he got his wish. Same for Deadpool too, since he offed a seemingly innocent guy. And get this, apparently prisoners get to wear this power-dampening collar, which makes sense, because no prison would let mutants roam around with their powers, which also meant bad news for Deadpool.
Not to worry, we're old friends.
With the collar sealing his healing factor, Wade was back at the mercy of cancer, and it was not looking good. You can say the same thing about his mug after his first prison fight. Well, that's prison life for you. Lucky for the prisoner, too, well, they didn't get to enjoy said prison life for long. That, ladies and gents, is Cable, a badass cybernetic time-traveling warrior from the future. His mission? To kill the young Russell, and he was more than happy to remove anyone that stood in his way. I know what you're thinking. This is basically Terminator, and you're right. Partially, at least. The way he mopped the floor with prison guards is just the same as any Terminator would. dude, they're just trying to do their job. No need to get all hardcore on them. And that cape flip at the end? Total show off. As much as I think he's way too cruel, I gotta admit, game recognizes game. Heck, even Wade didn't stand much of a chance, but at least he tried. Ooh, such a one-sided beatdown. If only he could get that dang collar off somehow. Well. How the tables have turned, nah? You know, because the table helped in removing the collar. Anyway, time for round 2.
Who are you? I'm Batman.
Ha! Nice one. But without his gear, there's only so much Wade could do, and Cable was slowly getting used to his moves and witty tongue. But winning a fight takes more than just brawn and cybernetic enhancements. It takes skill, a little bit of cunning.
Meet Bottom.
In the end, Deadpool got out of prison. Cable didn't succeed with his mission, and Russell made a new and very dangerous friend, but that's a surprise for another time. In the meantime, Wade decided to assemble his own team of superheroes, the X-Force, to stop Cable, and let's just say the so-called superheroes were pretty much slim pickings.
X-Force.
Isn't that a little derivative?
On the roster, we have an invisible guy, Terry Crews with sucky electric powers, acid vomit guy, a wannabe alien who looks nothing like an alien except a crazy hairdo, a painfully regular human with both types of diabetes named Peter, and lastly, my personal favorite, Domino, whose superpower is luck. Doesn't sound great at first, but you'll eat your words real soon. I know I did. Anyway, their first mission wasn't going to be a simple one. Since the prison had been compromised, leaving 9 guards added to the kill count, some prisoners, including Russell, were being moved to a more secure facility. Hitting the transport convoy was going to be Cable's only shot at offing Russell, and the X-Force were going to swoop in to save the day.
No!
Or maybe not. Okay, so they lost one member. The X-Force were still going strong.
Stage left, you idiot!
I guess we found something you're not better.
And another one bites the dust. Geez, you'd think parachuting out of a helicopter would be easy for superheroes. On the bright side, though, we got to confirm that he's an alien. I wonder how the others are faring.
Really?
All right, we can do this with 4.
You got this, buddy!
Oh, come on! At this rate, it's the X people who might actually need saving. But hey, we got to see what the invisible guy looks like. Then there were these two.
Look at me. We're X-Force, right?
Oh my God, what the
Well, that's a largely grotesque and an unfortunate way to go. I wonder if being part of the team comes with insurance. Terrible as things may have started, guess who survived the disastrous parachuting ordeal without so much as a scratch?
What, you shoot luck lasers out of your eyes? Not very cinematic.
Dang right it's Domino. The power of luck doesn't sound so stupid now, does it? Well, to be fair, her powers aren't exactly luck, but the subconscious alteration of the probability of events through subliminal telekinesis. It's a lot to wrap your head around, so that's why it's easier just to call it the power of luck, and Wade is totally wrong about it not being cinematic. Like, Domino needs her own movie.
Drop feet! Wander the earth. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm in.
Who's eating his words now, huh, Wade? Meanwhile, Cable has already forced his way into the truck and was heading straight for Russell. Dang, that dude is tenacious as hell. Just what the hell did Russell do to him in the future to be hunted like this? While Domino is busy taking care of business, Deadpool is still having trouble catching up with the transport truck. That is definitely a way to drive. At least it got him to his destination right in time to save Domino from a pinch.
Give me back my ski ball token. I guess dubstep never dies.
Now time for a proper Deadpool versus Cable rematch. This time no weapon handicaps or anything.
You killed Black Tom, you racist son of a...
Kind of hard to tell who's winning this early in the fight, but so far Wade's head hasn't gotten any holes in them, so that's good. It gets even better when he finally bursts out the katanas. Dude, he almost had me there after deflecting the first bullet, I won't lie. So far, things seem to be going their way, especially with Lady Luck on their side. But no one could imagine that little Russell would weasel his way out of his collar, then do the same for his new dangerous friend. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The mystery villain finally makes his appearance. Towering at 9'5" and weighing over 1,900 pounds, he's the true unstoppable force, the breaker of mountains, the one and only Juggernaut!
So you're okay? Oh, thank God. Oh, Juggernaut! I should have worn my white pants. But I am a huge fan.
Can't quite say why Deadpool's so excited to see Juggernaut, except for him being an underappreciated iconic X-Men villain. One capable of ripping a person into two with so much ease. Hey. But even that was not enough to dull Deadpool's weird fascination with the large brute. Cable, on the other hand, wasn't even gonna bother with Juggernaut, not like he could anyway. Thanks to that, Russell got to live another day and plot his revenge against the principal of the abusive Essex school. By the end of the obviously failed mission, at least 56 souls were added to that kill count. Gruesome.
You picked the wrong hole to future boy. What can we help you with?
With a 1,900-pound villain on the loose, Wade had no time to deal with Cable's nonsense, which turned out to be deeper than one would expect. Apparently, in the future, Russell, having killed the douchebag principal, ended up becoming a big-time villain with a love for roasting people. Sadly, 2 of his victims were Cable's wife and daughter.
You came into my home.
Hence his unbridled desire to off the kid before he even gets the chance to be a villain. Logical as his vengeance might be, killing a kid before he's even done anything bad is still hella wrong, so wrong even Wade himself was completely against it. Instead, he opted to do something no one would expect of him, trying to give Russell a chance to not be a villain as opposed to violence first. I guess we have Vanessa's last wishes to thank for that.
Deal.
Man, that sucks that they didn't have anything in their sights. I really wanted to match, you know?
But with the Juggernaut in play now, the extremely thinned out X-Force had no chance of stopping Russell, much less getting close to him, which left Wade only one option, and it was pretty embarrassing.
I made mistakes. I took that trust and turned it into a glory hole in an airport bathroom.
Oh, great heavens! Trust Wade to turn an iconic movie scene into a perverted Jersey show. Still, Colossus was adamant on trusting Wade again, so the X-Force, Cable included, were gonna have to deal with the Juggernaut and Russell on their own somehow. Okay, before we get right back into some more death and destruction, let's take a little breather, give our puke bag some time to air out, calm the nerves and whatnot. While you're doing that, it might interest you to know that so far, thanks to the combined efforts of Deadpool and friends, bad guys included, we've racked up an impressive amount of slaughter, a staggering 247 deaths. Aren't you just glad there's so much more to come? So where were we? Ah, yes, the customary cinematic walk-in we've all come to love. In case you're wondering who the last guy desperately failing to look cool is, it's Deadpool's personal taxi driver. Great guy, very impressionable, totally way in over his head as well.
I'm gonna shove that cab driver right up your ass.
Meanwhile, Russell, all kitted up in a smoking hot jacket, had his eyes set on burning the creepy principal. And trust me, his jacket wasn't the only thing that was smoking hot.
Why are you dressed like the Unabomber?
Woo! Looks like someone got a power-up. Guess doing time in prison really does change a man. Wade and the gang are having a bit more luck dealing with their opponent meanwhile.
Hey, big guy, the sun's getting real low.
Guess I spoke too soon. They were not doing any damage at all. Hell, even with it being 3 against 1, it was still unfair to Wade and the gang. And down goes Wade with a devastating pike to the head, which must have hurt like a lot. Not surprisingly, the only one who stood somewhat of a chance against the big galoot was Domino. Not that it did anything to even dent him in the slightest, but hey, at least she was trying her best. Then you wouldn't believe who came to the rescue. Aw, how romantic. And you bet Wade knew just how to thank him for coming to the rescue. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Someone's gonna be real happy soon. Anyway, turns out Colossus still had it in his heart to forgive him, especially since for once Wade was trying to do the right thing here. So you know what comes next, right?
He's doing great.
Not sure getting beat up is the best way to help, but at least he's keeping him occupied.
Shove it up your ass.
Oh yeah, get some! That was a cheap shot, but effective nonetheless. Never expected Colossus to fight dirty, but good on him. Besides, what's with Juggernaut's obsession with shoving ludicrous things up people's butts? Come on, Colossus, you got this. He's just a few 100 to 1,000 pounds heavier than you. Come on, kick his ass. See, was that so hard? So while the two muscleheads duked it out, Wade and Cable took care of the small fries, and get this, Wade only had a brick as a weapon. That and maximum effort.
Oh my god, did you feel that too? We best buddies execute together.
Dang right I did. Nothing's more satisfying than putting an end to a pedo infestation. But Wade and Cable weren't the only ones kicking ass. Domino had managed to find the rest of the kids being tortured at the Essex school, and she had her own set of pedos to exterminate. And trust me, what went down could hardly be called a fair fight. Ooh, what was that they said about this being a family movie fit for kids? Because I'm finding that hard to believe. Badassery at its finest, I tell you. And the superpower of luck is just on point as well. And Dom just knows how to wrap things up with a nice, neat little bow, doesn't she? Or should I say, a nice little beheading. Truly an awful way to go, but entertainingly awesome. I guess that ups the kill score by 28 creepy school guards. But there was still the matter of getting the kids out of the burning building. After all, this being a family movie, kids' protection is a top priority here, despite the past traumatizing moments.
Oh, jeez.
Super luck saves the day yet again. Not exactly the way I'd be using such a power. I mean, casinos in Vegas probably need some saving too. I mean, people self-destruct themselves all the time in there. But I guess saving kids is cool or whatever. Anyway, the Colossus versus Juggernaut fight was wrapping up here too.
I'm gonna melt you down and make a cock ring.
Again with the oddly threats, but at least this one's different. Before he could, Little Miss, the longest superhero name ever, and her cute little girlfriend swooped in to even the odds. My, how the turned have tabled. Look who got something stuck up his ass instead. So with the Juggernaut out for the count, the only problem left to deal with was Fire Fist Russell. Still a silly name, but whatever, his power is definitely not silly.
Russell, wait!
Well, he's no Human Torch, but those flames would roast the hell out of any normie just as well. But before the abusive principal could be cooked to like well-done steak, Wade and Cable intervened, all too poorly though. To be fair, they were kind of pulling their punches. After all, the most important issue still persisted. To kill a kid or to not kill a kid. Quite the conundrum.
Even runs like a one bullet left in that gun.
Despite all that, Wade's still stuck with not killing Russell. See, I'm all for being a nice guy, giving people a chance to make their own destiny and forgive and yada yada yada, but more often than not, that kind of attitude gets you burned in the ass. I can't trust anybody! Well, that plan flopped. At least he managed to get a hug in before the blast. Now, Cable had more than enough reason to put one between Russell's skull, and knowing my guy, that was something he could live with if it meant saving his future wife and daughter.
Tomorrow, so you gotta hang on.
What a completely unexpected move from Wade, right? And to think he willingly put on the power jamming collar before taking the bullet for Russell. You know what that means, right? Sure, death, muerto, kaputski, don eso. The point is he's dead.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be. I've been trying to make this happen for a while.
Oh, God. No, I hope the Academy's watching.
Sad as it may be, at least he doesn't get to die a lonely death. It's not something I would wish upon my worst enemy. Just kidding, I totally would. Anyway, back to Wade's dying words. A moment of silence for the hero clad in red. True, he may not have been anything like a hero until his final moments, but he spared no effort in bringing bad guys to deathly justice, and wanking, that too. To Deadpool!
Go. Sorry, I want you to have my Adventure Time watch.
Well, if you know how unserious Wade is, then you know he had to make a big deal out of dying. After a few false alarms and a lot of final words to take the specialness out of the moment, he finally kicked the bucket. Not exactly the ending you were expecting right after all you probably heard a lot about the third movie. Well, joke's on you, the Deadpool in the third movie is from another movie. Huh? The joke was on me too. But yeah, this Wade didn't actually die though. You see, Cable had one last time travel charge to get back to the future, but seeing the way Wade was willing to sacrifice himself, he popped back to the past instead and slipped a coin where the bullet was meant to hit Wade.
Genuine high-grade lead.
You can't go back. You did this for me?
Well, that was a pretty sly move, but super heroic nonetheless. Plus, while Wade was dead, or partially at least, he got to see Vanessa again temporarily, and everything ended happily ever after. Not! There was still the matter of the principal that needed to be sorted out.
We're better than him!
Would you look at that? Karma does exist. And score 1 for the cowardly taxi driver. Don't y'all just love a balanced ending? By now, you're probably wondering all the bad guys are either dead or stuck in a perpetually electrified swimming pool, so the movie's gotta be over, right? Hell no! You see, even though Cable's time-traveling device was out of charge, didn't mean it couldn't be fixed up. And when it was finally working again, guess who took it for a spin?
Just fix it, 11, or I'll take it to the Genius Bar. The Lord works in mysterious ways, don't I?
Bye, Yukio.
What have you done indeed? Why on earth would you give the most unserious, crazy person the ability to jump through time? Of course nothing good's gonna come from that.
We're definitely naming our kid Cher!
Okay, I guess I stand corrected. Some of you might say it's an abuse of time traveling, saving someone who died in the past, but hey, Cable did it and no one judged him. And he was gonna kill a kid too. Anyway, that wasn't the only person Wade cared enough to save. Remember Peter from the X-Force? Yeah, painfully normal with no superpower whatsoever, Peter? That one. Well, Wade couldn't just let him die.
Walk away! X-Force is just a marketing tool designed by Fox. Need to feed my cat! Go home, Sugar Bear.
As you may have noticed, Wade didn't even bother with the other members of the X-Force. A total meanie. Still though, you'd think that'd be the end of Wade's time-traveling jamboree, but no! Leave it to him to abuse a powerful device and turn it into an Uber he can use to kill off some of his past mistakes, like the time he starred in the Green Lantern movie that flopped. You know, personally, I thought the movie was kind of cool, but you won't hear me say a thing just in case someone time travels in and paints my desk with my brain matter. Then there was the time he was the trashy version of Deadpool in the Wolverine Origins movie. You know, the really tacky one with the knockoff Wolverine claws, laser eyes, and a sewn shut mouth.
Cleaning up the timelines.
Good riddance to old rubbish, huh? And let's not forget the most hated person on Earth. Baby Hitler.
We'll take care of that, won't we?
Oh, I'm going to hell.
I know what you're gonna say. Killing a baby, even if it's Baby Hitler, is wrong. Technically, he hasn't done anything bad yet. Meh! This is why Wade came up with an alternate solution.
And then I'm gonna come back with my friend Cable.
See? Problem solved. So all in all, we've got 156 deaths, 53 of which was done by Wade. Seems a little small, right? With the whole being a better person shtick after Vanessa's death. Cable, on the other hand, scored second highest with 46, all the while trying to kill just one. Moving on to the third movie, and if you're still thirsty for more violence and bloodshed, I got you, because a new character's gonna be in this one that's known to be the embodiment of undying rage. That's right, I'm talking about the OG unkillable killing machine, the inspiration behind Weapon X, the one and only Wolverine. So together with Deadpool in this movie, you just know the death count's gotta be off the charts, insanely so too. Except for one small problem.
Look, I'm not a man of science, but you seem incredibly passed away. I gotta be honest, I've always wanted to ride with you, Logue. You and me getting into it?
Yeah, Wolverine was very, very dead. Which makes sense, because in the movie Logan, Wolverine kind of died protecting his maybe daughter from some crazy bad guy scientists who wanted to use her as a weapon. Why'd he die when he had a healing factor? Well, Logan has been alive for a really long time, like over 190 years at that point. And with the adamantium skeletal draft poisoning him constantly, his healing factor just could not keep up forever. I guess having the strongest metal coating on your skeleton has its downsides.
You have to get all noble and die for real.
Damn it!
I'm sure the next burning question in your mind is why Wade desperately seems to need Logan's help, enough to actually desecrate his grave and chill with his skeleton. But before we get into all of that, as is the tradition with Deadpool movies, we gotta immerse ourselves in a couple of minutes of sweet and creatively cinematic murder to an iconic musical classic in the background.
That team up after all.
Oh no! In addition to desecrating Wolverine's grave, Wade was going to use his bones to fight. I mean, logically speaking, 206 bones made of adamantium metal is a pretty useful weapon. Unethical, but useful nonetheless. Is it just me, or does the adamantium bones, dull as they may be, have more stabbing power than Deadpool's regular swords? I mean, look, just look at how they slid in and out of the flesh like fracking butter, and they hit just as hard. Seeing the way his remains are being used, I'm sure Logan would be writhing and rolling in his not grave anymore. Afterlife, I guess. And of course, Wade was enjoying every bit of it. I wish I had sick dance moves like that. I'd totally murder everyone on the dance floor, like metaphorically, of course, or not. Ooh, if that guy wasn't already dead from the first hit, then that crotch blow would have definitely killed him 50 times over. Hope the next guy gets off easier than that. Good one. Yeah, I guess not. Then again, it's much better than the head Deadpool gave this guy. I meant literally. Guys, like, people are dying out here, for goodness sake. Focus, guys. I guess you could say those three guys got fingered. Yeah, it's Deadpool, guys. It brings out the bad jokes in me. That was the last one. I promise. I was starting to wonder when we get our first decapitation, and it did not disappoint. Maybe I should set up a murder bingo board for this movie. Okay, who got death by nunchuck combo on their bingo card? No one? That would have been hard to predict, because no normal person would use a dead guy's skeleton legs as a nunchuck thing. Then again, there's absolutely nothing normal about Deadpool. And finally, for the skeletal part of Wolverine, we've all been itching to see Wade used.
The desecration of the sacred corpse.
It was off to a good start, but nah. Wolverine would never nick himself with his own claws. It's so amateurish. But I suppose you don't need to be a pro to just swing some insanely sharp blades around, huh?
Now we're talking. Wolverining is hard.
Make it stop.
Mangled tribe.
Dang. For the life of me, I can't tell who had it worse. The one with the claws in the butt or the one with it in the groin. Just put them out of their misery already. You sick. Couldn't have said it better myself. No way in hell would I antagonize the deranged psycho who just massacred like a dozen people with the corpse.
My country's name out of your mouth.
See what I mean? Dude just went to make himself number 31 on the kill count. Anywho, now that the fight's over, let's deal with those pressing questions of yours. Like, who the hell were those bad guys? Why are they trying to kill Wade? And why was Wade desecrating Wolverine's grave? Well, it all goes back to Wade's abusive joyride through time back at the end of the second movie. So after killing a few loose ends and saving a couple, including his girlfriend Vanessa, you'd think that all would be well. Right, instead Vanessa breaks up with him. Apparently almost dying in the first movie and actually dying in the second and being brought back to life takes a toll on a person's romantic interest in someone. The nerve of that woman. So without anywhere to go, Wade crossed over into the sacred timeline, the one with the Avengers we all know and love, to apply for a position on their team. Crazy, I know, but it was something about showing Vanessa and perhaps the world that he matters. Needless to say, he kind of bombed the interview.
I was caught smasturbating.
Sorry, what was that?
Those toy Hulk hands, right? And then you look down and you just ravage the midsection.
Smasturbating. That's definitely a new one, but well within the parameters of Wade's perverse debauchery. As you can imagine, he did not land the job, which drove him to depression and an early retirement from superheroing for about 6 years. And get this, he actually got a normie job too.
Now let's go sell some certified pre-owned vehicles, mother.
I know, I can't believe it either. There's no way people can't tell that's a toupee. Oh, and then he got a job as a car salesman. That's pretty weird. But even amidst the sheer mediocrity that was now his life, there was still some excitement, like his birthday party.
Hey, you guys are lucky I'm not on.
Ugh. Guess Wade has really hit the rock bottom part of a midlife crisis, huh? At least he still has cool friends like the affordable X-Men, the coke-addicted blind grandma, and one of the unimportant X-members. Oh yeah, also my all-time fave Domino. Oh, and who can forget the extremely ordinary Peter and the ex, Vanessa.
You see anyone?
Yeah. He's kind.
Good.
Likes to go hiking.
hasn't gotten me shot yet.
Geez, even the birthday party's dry as hell. No weed-infused cakes, no delightfully suspicious gummy bears, no powdered sugar, if you know what I mean. Nothing fun at all. At least they got a full squad of male strippers.
Wade Wilson? Oh, yeah. Never mind. Take your clothes off, but leave the helmets, and this isn't Pretty Woman. How long do you guys normally dance to?
Wait a minute, I know these guys. Aren't they the same guys he fought at the beginning of the movie? Maybe that's why they were so pissed with him. He thought they were strippers for his birthday party. I guess I would be too. Someone mistook me for one. Not murdery pissed, sure, but pissed all the same.
I don't like you.
Yes, let's hold on to that attitude, and we're gonna do it angry.
So it turns out the non-strippers were actually agents from a special organization that exists outside of time called the TVA, Time Variance Authority. Basically, they're these guys who watch over the timelines of the multiverse, making sure no one does something really crazy that would damage said timeline. So it kind of makes sense that they'd crack down on Wade after he Ubered across all the timelines.
They used Cable's time machine, brought a couple of people back to life, then I destroyed it.
You were so abusive of it. No, it has nothing to do with that.
Or maybe not. His name is Paradox, by the way, the big shot in charge of overseeing Wade's universe, and for some reason beyond me, he actually offered Wade an opportunity to leave his universe for Earth 616, the one with the Avengers, the sacred timeline, so he could be a part of some bigger future for some reason. The curiosity of why was lost in the swarm of perks that came with the offer. That's a much snazzier looking suit there, for sure. And the adamantium swords also help. Totally makes the harassment from the perverted tailor worth it. But all that goody-goody feeling you get when you receive new stuff went out the window the moment he found out why the TVA was being so nice. Apparently, Wade's universe was deteriorating thanks to losing something called an anchor being, or rather, someone.
Don't be what they made you.
Logan.
So with the Wolverine of Wade's universe dead, it was just a matter of time till the universe followed suit too, for some reason. And to make matters worse, Paradox, the guy in charge of Wade's universe, wasn't a big fan of slow deteriorating universes, so he figured he'd use a powerful machine banned by the TVA for being inhumane to speed up the process, something called the...
It's a time ripper, Mr. Wilson. An accelerant.
I can think of better names than that. Time Devastator. Time-Upinator. Anyway, Wade wasn't too happy about all that. First, his universe was collapsing. Now some sassy weirdo wanted to kill it off quickly, so he did the only reasonable thing he could.
He knows.
So with the time-traveling device, the Tempad, if you will, Wade went to confirm that Wolverine was actually dead, and that's the sum total reason why the TVA had a bone to pick with him. Too bad the bones they picked in the end were from their mangled corpses. Great, now we're all caught up. Anyway, since Logan was dead, Wade figured the solution to saving his universe was pretty simple. Just find a replacement Logan, easy peasy. So he went Logan shopping all across the multiverse.
Who's asking?
Well, look at this little Harry Lou Retton. You did comic-accurate short king.
Yeesh, good thing he hadn't closed the deal with that one. Else he'd be dealing with a whole lot of buyer's remorse. Maybe the next one would be better.
Ahoy! Everything seems to be on fire. You have a dragon?
Personally, I loved the edginess, the initial pose, the flames in the background. That all screamed total badass, but he seemed to be a bit too temperamental, or maybe he just doesn't like Canadians. Next! Okay, so that one looked a lot more civil than the last, and dressed in a spiffy looking suit too. Totally giving Godfather vibes, but still not enough. Perhaps there's something better in the back of the store of the Wolverine Mart.
Howdy! I'm just auditioning anchor beings. I need some coconut oil.
Cowboy Wolverine. Never thought I'd see the day Wolverine wielded anything other than his blades, much less a gun. Still as grumpy as his other counterparts though, glad to know certain things don't change. Then there was the Wolverine who was a little bit too busy to pay Wade any attention.
Oh, yes. Classic John Byrne Brown and tan. I'm Marvel Jesus, you dull creature, and I will not...
Did Wade just try to pull a Loki from the first Avenger movie? You know, the time when Loki was boasting about being a god and Hulk wouldn't dare lay a hand on him, but ended up being pummeled? Still the best scene in the MCU. As for the Marvel Jesus joke, Wade has this idea that since a lot of the MCU movies released before now are crap, his movie would be the one to save the dying MCU. Did it? I don't really know. But enough of that, let's see who's next on the Wolverine roster.
Yeah. That's the whole goddamn package right there.
Looking at that chiseled back alone, you can already tell this one's gonna be good. This has gotta be the one, the full package we're looking for.
From behind, you look a little bit like Henry. Oh my And may I say, sir, on behalf of all humanity, this just feels right.
You were just leaving.
Oh my frick, it's Henry frackin' Cavill! Or better yet, the Cavalry! Dope as he may be, he's not the one for Wade. Not after that mudsling at DC.
Again.
You're not welcome here.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
That's not how it works.
It does now.
In the end, all that multiverse window shopping led to the worst Wolverine of them all, except he didn't know that yet. Even so, I'm pretty sure the drink in his life away scenery was a dead giveaway.
Good God. It's okay. Keep going. Audiences are accustomed to long run times.
I think we all know Wade well enough to tell that he would kidnap Logan and drag his ass back to the TVA as a replacement anchor being. Except, that's not how things work. An anchor being isn't a light bulb you can just change out anytime, and that Wolverine was dubbed the worst one for a reason.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
Plus, Paradox is still miffed about that headbutt from before, so he was itching for some good old-fashioned revenge. Also, Wade was just being a total Karen, talking about speaking to a manager and snitching on Paradox for using a TVA banned Time Ripper.
I have a black belt in Karen, and I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna tell him all about—
To the trash heap. You'll fit right in.
So that's what the magic stick thingy does. It just transports you to the void, the multiversal equivalent of a trash bin where everyone who breaks or would break the flow of the various timelines unnecessarily is condemned to. Kinda lame compared to simply pulverizing the target, but I digress. Still, being sent to the multiversal waste bin was enough to piss Wolverine off, especially when he could have just been drinking peacefully in a bar somewhere.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay, thank you.
Where the hell are we? I don't know. Looks kind of Mad Maxy.
The way Wolverine keeps aiming down south, you can tell he's definitely got a big bone to pick with Wade.
Are you backstabbing son of a bitch?
Are you ready to be calm now? Rest in pieces, Fox.
That's a good one. Throwing shades at Fox for not utilizing the Wolverine rights properly. More importantly, Wade and Logan's tussle was only getting heated up. Guess Wolverine really hates guns. Can understand that, though. Sometimes it's just more satisfying to get up close and personal against someone really annoying you just want to unalive. Jeez, if either one of them were a normal person, they'd already be dead like 10 times over. I wonder if this is what fighting on steroids and vodka tasters feel like.
Gotcha.
Baby nice.
Let's see you grow your head back.
Finally! Fights like these between people who can't exactly die tend to lead to a dry halt. Why waste energy on themselves when they can help each other out of their fracking situations? Wolverine can help Wade save his universe, and Wade can help him fix his past mistakes.
Fricks! In the TVA, you heard him. Have the power to change yours. And we can fix your world.
However, the Void had other plans for their newfound partnership in the form of villains. You might actually know some of them. Let's see here. There's Pyro, the wee pyrokinetic kid, Sabretooth, the long-standing personal rival to Wolverine, and a few extras. There was also the unlikely ally that Wade gravely mistook for someone else.
See anyone running? Dick for brains? Oh my God, he's gonna say it. Ha! Oh my God, he's gonna say it! Just flame on!
Sorry, what?
Okay, so that's Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, not Captain America. I guess the lack of an American-themed vibranium shield should have been obvious enough. Too bad he wasn't worth anything in front of Pyro. Yes, the comic version of the Human Torch could never go down like that from a C-list villain, but we take what we get for the plot. Speaking of plot, the legendary Wolverine vs. Sabretooth fight is up next, and I cannot tell you how far this rivalry has gone on, probably since the beginning of the X-Men comics, but I don't know, I don't read.
What is it, girl? Is there trouble at the well?
Huh. Decades of hot-blooded rivalry ended in just a matter of seconds. I feel ripped off. Wade certainly had a lot to say about it.
Behold! The head of your precious queen! I have the Wolverine! I alone control.
Okay, I was expecting more of a blue balls kind of joke, not a walking copyright lawsuit on Mad Max. After all was said and done, though, Wade and Logan still ended up captured and taken to the villain overlord. Now time for a little segment I like to call Who Wants to Be an Imaginary Millionaire? I don't have $1 million. Who is the villain overlord of the Void? A, the all-powerful mutant almost on par with gods, Magneto. B, the devastating Omega-level mutant, Dark Phoenix Jean Grey. Or C, some baldy called Cassandra Nova.
Here.
Who are you?
Charles Xavier's twin, Cassandra Nova. I have a good feeling about this.
Turns out Cassandra ain't your regular old baldy. She's actually Professor Xavier's sister. You can see the semblance, really, minus the wheelchair. In addition to being super powerful compared to her brother, she's also pretty evil, a no-nonsense kind of lass. Well, I can see why she's in the Void. That and the agreement she had with the TVA to rule over it any way she saw fit. She's also gathered quite the personal mutant army, including a skinny version of the Juggernaut, the teleporting devil Azazel, and Psylocke. No shocker Cassandra didn't see it fit to help Wade and Logan leave in peace.
My boy's wicked strong!
Soon enough, their fight was interrupted by Alioth, a thing. Let's put it this way. If the Void is a waste bin and the occupants waste, then Alioth is the incinerator. And since Cassandra couldn't kill the seemingly immortal pair, she figured why not leave them to that thing? Chances are they might not heal from that. As luck and a little bit of skill would have it, they managed to escape the sentient abyss and ended up stranded in the middle of nowhere. Again, this time they meet another familiar-ish face.
Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool.
Yeah, that's Wade. At least another version of him, much more handsome one. And he's called Nice Pool, on account of how incredibly nice he is. Ugh. There's also Dog Pool, who looked, well, like this. I'm a huge fan of dogs, but not that one. Not whatever that thing is. Anyway, Nice Pool lends Wade and Logan the minivan and points them to the Borderlands, where they might find their way out of the Void. Emphasis on might. Along the way, Wade kind of let it slip that the TVA couldn't actually fix what went wrong in Logan's universe. Of course, Logan did not take that well.
One thing, you will never save the world. And wish I could say you die alone.
Wow, that was a lot to unpack. Pretty harsh too, but not entirely uncalled for either. Plus, I don't really need to mention that this would lead to yet another fight between the two.
Not tough now, are you?
Too bad you don't, Needle Dick.
Well, we're just getting started, Bub.
You'd think that after their first fight, they'd see just how pointless it was to slice and stab at each other, especially in such an uncomfortably confined space like a minivan. It went on and on and on until they both passed out from exhaustion. I guess their healing factors do have limits. Eventually, they were found and taken by a little band of resistance fighters, the beef against Cassandra, and boy, you wouldn't believe the guys MCU managed to bring into the fold. First up, we got, drumroll please, Elektra, an unparalleled master of Chinese, Japanese, and Siam martial arts and weaponry. Trust me, you don't want to end up on the wrong points of her side blades. Up next, another old-time classic. Blade, the only human that makes even the most vicious of vampires shiver at the mention of his name. A super awesome slayer with an epic sense of style. And then there's this guy who's definitely a new face in the MCU, but a widely loved character. Gambit, master of cards, infamous thief, proficient wielder of the bow staff, and a terror to be feared with explosive biokinetic energies, and I forget to mention a strangely alluring charm. And the last of the Merry Resistance is none other than their leader.
Greta.
Holy shit.
Laura Kinney, aka X-23, a living weapon engineered from the genetic material of Wolverine, which, like I mentioned before, makes her the maybe kinda daughter of Logan, the one that died in Wade's universe, though. Now, as to why they had a score to settle with Cassandra, apparently she killed a couple of their buddies sometime back, including very recently the Human Torch. You remember, right, though? The one who was skinned alive in like half a second? God rest his soul.
Dickhead here talked him into a team-up, and Johnny came down with a little case of the dead.
He may have survived.
If he survived that, he is praying for death.
With one more reason to hate Cassandra, Laura and her crew decided it's time to take the fight to her instead of just cowering away, and to do that, they need help from Wade and Logan. They weren't exactly keen on the potential suicidal mission, but they changed their minds pretty quickly when they learned Cassandra had a means of getting them out of the void. Plus, a little one-on-one session with his other universe daughter made Logan realize there wasn't any point dwelling in fixing his past. So what if it was his fault the X-Men in his world all died because he didn't join them on a mission? So what if in a blind rage he went on a murdering revenge spree and killed some innocent people too?
Hey, whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy.
Okay, maybe it was actually worse than it sounded. But hey, at least he feels really bad about it, and helping Wade save his universe might just be the redemption he needs. So with all that sorted out, the next problem was how to deal with the annoyingly powerful Cassandra. The plan was simple in the sense that it was incredibly difficult. Phase 1, blast their way into her domain and start wrecking the place up. Phase 2, defeat the Juggernaut and steal his helmet, known for sealing and defense against psychic abilities. Phase 3, plant said helmet on Cassandra's bald head and force her to get them home. Pretty straightforward, right? Good, let's go. Nothing could ever go wrong with this. Phase 1 was already going great, and let's not forget the iconic entrance scene that sets up an orgasmic battle. That was weird. That was a weird word to use there. I think we can all agree that that was totally badass. Sure, the minivan had seen better days, but you can barely notice it over the cool entrance. Oh yeah, I almost forgot someone important. Only Wolverine can make getting out of the trunk cool-ish. So it was 6 against however many men Cassandra had on her side. Terrible odds for the bad guys, I know. Let the battle begin. Oh, such beauty. I dare you to find anything better or more therapeutic than a fast-paced battle full of blood, dismemberment, and explosions. Even though he was having a hard time nailing Azazel, Blade was still racking up kills under his belt, 2 and counting. Scratch that, 7 glorious kills and counting. On the other end, Laura got to work trying to remove the Juggernaut's helmet. That was proving to be kind of difficult considering the size difference. I think we all know what happens afterwards, but we can't show that. YouTube's watching. Meanwhile, Gambit was showcasing his explosive card shuffling and dealing skills, and now that we can show. Oh dang, I call that a bloody straight flush. That was at least like a 10 no-hit kill streak right there. Dude hasn't even busted out the bow staff yet.
You shouldn't have done that.
Poor guy. He definitely had it coming though, acting all big and mighty because he managed to land a single hit. By the way, Elektra wasn't too far behind on her kill count either. In all the ensuing chaos, Wade and Logan managed to slice and dice their way up to Cassandra's chambers. Needless to say, they were still no match for her with all her powers still intact.
Up to Daisy.
With Logan pinned down, Cassandra could finally pry her freakishly long-looking hands into Logan's head, trying to break him from within. Things were definitely not looking good. Where was Laura with Juggernaut's helmet? Ah, just in the nick of time. That fricker Cassandra didn't know what hit her until she was completely powerless. Getting the helmet on her and sealing her powers is one thing, convincing her to transport them home was another. Luckily for them, someone stepped in and put her in a much more agreeable position.
What the fuck? Day after day, shovel the fetch the meat!
Not everyone gets a speech.
Wow, what a move from Pyro, who seemed like he was tired of being number 2, who scoops up number 2. Anyway, turns out the dude was in cahoots with Paradox all along, keeping an eye on Cassandra and biding his time. And with her bleeding out with her power seal, there was really no choice than to help them, especially with Wolverine being a big softy who didn't want to see Professor X's sister die.
An amateur magician rolled through here a while back. It's been around for 4 days. I found this
little trinkets.
Oh, hell no, I must be dreaming or something. Did she just call the Doctor Strange one-time Sorcerer Supreme an amateur magician? Now, she deserves to bleed out and die. Let her...
This is your way home. I do owe you for saving my life.
I'll spare you the long-ass slow-motion run to the portal. Wade and Logan did make it through just in the nick of time. As for Laura and her crew, well, someone had to stay back and clean up the remnant baddies.
The chestnut tree is seeing you.
All in all, I'd say they did a quite banging job with a total kill count of 68 victims. As for the rankings, Laura and Electra tied at 15 kills, while Gambit beat the two of them with 17. And the MVP of that bloody battle was Blade with a total kill count of 21 victims. Not bad for a 10-minute showdown. Meanwhile, Wade and Logan had landed back safely in Wade's universe, literally.
That's half the community.
Hope the family paid for car insurance. Anyway, Wade and Logan made a beeline straight to the TVA to confront Paradox and shut down their Time Ripper, but they ran into some complications, to say the least.
Paradox.
Another one bites the dust. Of course, it's Cassandra Frackanova again. Bet they wish they had let her die back in the void, huh? And boy, was she pissed that Paradox tried to pull a fast one on her.
You come for the king. You better kill the king.
You know she doesn't wash that hand.
Oh. What's this?
Cassandra alone was already dangerous enough as is, but with the knowledge that a Time Ripper exists, there's no telling what she'd do next.
I'm going to use your little Time Ripper, and I'm going to destroy this universe. All that's left is the void.
Stand corrected. Turns out we do know what she'd do next, and it's super bad. Plus, she brought some more friends to keep Wade and Logan company, and these are not the regular bunch of D-list mutants from before. Oh no. That's a lot of Deadpools. I'm talking about Skullhead Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, who by the way is Ryan Reynolds' actual wife. Then there's Cowboy Deadpool, Kidpool, Babypool, you name it, 100 by Wolverine's count. At least Wade and Logan had Nice Pool on their side.
Uzi time, baby.
Look alive!
You did that on purpose.
I did no such thing!
How long does it take for you to regenerate?
Regenerate?
Scratch that. They had Nice Pool on their side. Apparently, he's the only Deadpool who didn't go through the traumatizing experiments that gave them their healing factor, hence his good-looking, unblemished, cancer-free face. But hang on, maybe there's still some hope left for him yet.
You're gonna live. Say it with me! You're gonna live! I'm gonna live!
Guess not. Poor chap, I was kind of rooting for him. So it's back to 100 versus 2 in the power of skill, maximum effort, and plot armor. Let's go! Dang, look at them go. Wade's just breezing through with a mix of slicing, stabbing, amputating, shooting, bashing, while Logan's just stabbing each one that he gets his claws on repeatedly before moving on. What a thorough guy. Well, they had a good start. Can't blame them for being overrun. 100 Deadpools, even more deadlier than the last, is just too much. But not for our Wade and Logan. You just know the killings are on a whole nother level when a blind person wishes they lost their sense of hearing as well. Golly goober, there's still more to kill. What's the kill count now at? Like 70, maybe 80? I've lost track. Healing factor be damned. I'd be tired, verging on the point of extreme exhaustion if I was in their shoes. That right there, that shot right there, totally epic. No better way to finish a horrendous massacre than striking a wallpaper-worthy pose right at the end. So that's 100 dead Deadpools at the kill count. Wait a minute, wait. Hold on, something's not right.
Uh-oh.
I guess these ones regenerate.
Come on.
Oh, of course. They all have healing factors as well. I knew the fight was looking way too easy to be true. No way they were gonna go through that whole ordeal all over again. Thankfully, someone really special came to their rescue.
This Deadpool's with me.
Oh no. You guys know.
Yeah, I can't even believe it myself. Regular ass Peter being a legend across the multiverse. Anyway, it was enough to keep the other pools occupied while Wade and Logan went after Cassandra, but it was too late. She had already started the machine and plugged herself in. Next up, multiversal slaughter. Unfortunately for her, there was actually one way to stop the Time Ripper, by forcefully and manually linking something else called the matter and antimatter chambers below the machine. However, the person to do so would be fried completely out of existence. That was a sacrifice Logan was more than willing to make, seeing as he had no one in his universe to go back to, unlike Wade. But we all know Wade too well to see him doing something really dumb.
Open the door!
I can't hear you over all the noble sacrifice!
Typical Wade doing something so incredibly selfish yet noble. Way to steal the spotlight, buddy. Still, it was pointless because Wade lacked the elastic powers of someone like Mr. Fantastic to connect both matter and antimatter energies. That is until Wolverine busts in to help, and with just a couple of seconds left before Wade's universe was destroyed, hot dang, that's what I'm talking about. That right there, that's the actual money shot. Forget what I said about the last one. Let's take a closer look for research purposes. Whew, that was something, wasn't it? What were we doing again? All right, saving the multiverse and whatnot. I guess Cassandra was starting to feel the backlash of Wade and Logan's interference below, and it was way more than she could handle. Words can't really describe how beautiful that kind of self-sacrifice is. And that explosion at the end, totally satisfying to watch. It's a pity it also claimed the lives of Wade and Logan, or not. You know, these two might truly be the cockroaches of the MCU, always coming back no matter what hits them. And thanks to their heroism, what they did somehow saved Wade's universe from deteriorating further. Logan ended up sticking around. Rumor has it the MCU would bleed him dry till he's 90. Wade called in a favor to get their pals out of the void. Laura even moved in with them. And most importantly, Wade got back together with Vanessa.
I am the world-saving type. Just look around this table if you want.
Aw, who doesn't love happy endings? Now that all that mushy crap's out of the way, let's talk kill count. After an incredible amount of stabbing, slashing, decapitation, card-related explosions, skin-ripping, evisceration, and atomization by the Time Ripper, we have a total of 178 kills. Surprisingly, Logan only killed about 6 people, while Wade had the highest kill count at 42. Not bad for a savior of the universe. And with all that, we have a grand total kill count of 459. Very fitting for a Deadpool trilogy. If you thought all that blood, death, and explosions was insane, well, there's a lot more where that came from. You really need to click that link on screen, because you ain't seen nothing yet.